Yes, 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 yes. We are live. We are live. We are live. Wow. I'm so happy to be here today. And good afternoon to you all, wherever you are joining in from. Sorry we couldn't come at exactly 12 o'clock. We had a bit of a technical challenge and now we are good to go. So today, I welcome you all. Okay. I welcome you all. And I believe you're doing well. How is the parenting so far? How is it going? All right. So today, we are going to look at we are going to look at 5 deadly parenting styles you may be using and how to change them. Yes, the parenting styles that most of us use, okay, most of us use these days are very, very, very deadly. They are causing a lot of problems that some we are aware of, some we don't even know that they are problems. We are either raising our kids the same way our parents raised us, we are raising the kids the same way our parents raise us, or we are doing something, we are just doing something, anything at all, just because we feel that it is probably what we have to do. Someone will tell you that, I've done everything, but still I'm not seeing any results. No, you haven't done everything. You have done what you know. And what you know may not be enough for you to get the results that you desire. So today, I am here to talk about the parenting styles that are causing us, that are really not letting us really raise these children very well to achieve the results that we want to see in our parenting. Now, um, relax. I want you to relax, okay? I want you to relax and then listen to what I am about to tell you. When I finish, don't fight it, okay? Don't fight it. Ask yourself, what type of this style, these parenting styles, which one of them am I using, and how can I change to become a better parent, a parent that I have to be for my child? So we are going to start. Now, remember that for your child to change, you need to learn to change to how you respond to them. It's important. Parenting that we've been saying is all about us, not the children. It's about us. It's about us and not the children. It's high time we realize these things, that parenting, okay, is about us. And the first thing you do once you become a parent is to grow, is to learn, so that you will understand how you have to raise this child. And even before you become a parent, I think these things have to be learned. If you don't learn them, you wouldn't understand the child that God has blessed you with, and you end up doing anything at all just because you feel that that is the right way to do it, and you feel also that that is how your parents raised you, and you think that you turned out better. We didn't turn out better. Most of us didn't turn out better. Our parents were insulting us that we are, goats, we are fools, and all of that. Do you think, look around us, don't you think that some of us actually have grown to become what our parents told us? Don't you think so? So today, I want us to start, okay? I want us to start, and please get a pen and a small book and jot these things down, so that after that you can go through again or catch replay, so that you will be able to analyze things for yourself. You know where you have to change for yourself, so that you can achieve the results that you desire to achieve in your parenting. So the first deadly parenting approach that we use is the helicopter parenting. The helicopter parenting. Now, this type of parent hovers around their kids. They are always, hurrying to smoothen everything in their child's life. They don't want their child to face any challenge at all. They want to always do things for their children. Now, these parents, they are constantly, they don't stop at anything. They stop at nothing, and their concern is mostly to help their children, to help their children do their homework, their school projects. They go to that extent to do things for their children, just because they don't want their child to face any form of challenge at all. They think that they have invested so much energy, okay, in their parenting, and that nothing should stand in. Nothing should ever, the child shouldn't go through any challenge at all. The child has to go through, like, the child has to be free. The child has to live life without any challenge. No, no. You and I know that in this life, whatever challenge that comes our way is just to strengthen us. Look at yourself. Look at the challenges you've had to go through, the challenges you've had to deal with, and look at yourself now. How has those challenges helped you become the person you are now? So challenges help us in so many ways. And these kind of children, these kind of parents do not want their children to go through any challenge at all. They don't want that at all. This style of parenting can keep the kids, in a perpetual state of dependency through adulthood, leaving them unprepared to handle the many curveballs of life. So when you are a helicopter parent, you are always doing things for your child. You don't want the child to go through any form of challenge at all. And these things doesn't help the child, because the child always goes like, the child has to depend on the mom or the dad, because their parents are always doing things that they have to do for themselves. If your child is not doing, if you are not allowing your child to do things for themselves, the things that they can do for themselves, if you don't allow your child to do those things for themselves, you are killing the child. You are not helping the child in any way. So let's take note. Let's give these children that opportunity to try things. Whenever they have, an assignment, don't go and take your children's homework books and do their homeworks for them. I know parents who do that just because they don't want their children to fail. They don't want their children to make mistakes. They want it to be all perfect. We want best, that we all want the best for our children. But ask yourself, these things that you are doing for the child, how is it going to help this child? Yesterday, I went out and I went to get a few things in town, and a certain woman approached me and she asked me a question. I mean, we were all in the same shop, buying a few things, and she was like, "What at all is going on?" There was, I think, a program going on the radio, and the woman was like, "What? Why are we even? Why have the schools? Why is it compulsory, or why is it that when your child finishes the JHS, he or she has to go to the boarding school in SHS, and the boarding schools are spoiling the children. The boarding schools are not helping the children, so she will not let her child go to the boarding school, because when the child goes there, people are going to mess things up and all of that." I looked at her, and all that I said was, "Mom, it is true. What you are saying is true. There are so many things going on in the boarding school, but ask yourself, are you always going to be there for your child? Are you always going to be there to protect your child from these challenges, from these things?" And I told her, the most important thing that you have to do is to ensure, when your child is young, build values, teach your values to your child. We leave so many things. We don't teach the children a lot of things. So when they grow, they go to their friends, and their friends tell them exactly. When your child asks you a question, you say another thing. You don't say the same thing. When it's about, when your child asks you a very tough question that you feel like, let's say your child asks you about sex, a question about sex, and instead of you to answer appropriately, or if you don't know, instead of you to be truthful to the child, you say a different thing. You lie to the child, and the child goes out. He or she mingles with their friends. They have those discussions. The friend, tells them the truth. They now think that, oh, mom or dad was lying. They don't even know. So the child loses trust in you, and now they trust their friends more. So the most important thing to do when your child is young is to build values. Yes, is to build values. Thank you, Elizabeth. Is to build values. It's important. You need to build values in your child. Ensure whatever you believe in, whatever your values are, ensure that you teach them to your children. because no one is going to teach these values to your children for you. And remember, death is inevitable. Death is inevitable. It can happen at any time. And the best thing you can do for your child is to teach him to become independent, is to teach him resilience, Parents, these are some of the things we are going to be teaching in the inner tribe. And see, we are going to really hold you accountable once you join the inner tribe. We are going to ensure that you have your family values. We are going to ensure that we teach you how you can make them central in the lives of your children. So if you want to know more about the inner tribe, if you want to do the registration, we have it under the video. You can see it scrolling under the video. You can call or contact the number below and reach out for the registration link or any other details that you may need. So parenting is actually about us. Let's not be too much of a helicopter parent. Now, what can we do? As a helicopter parent, what can you do? So you must learn to be involved in your child's life, but you don't have to be over. Like you don't have to intrude in anything at all that goes on in your child's life. Okay, you need to do that. You need to develop a healthy sense of independence in your child, and so that your child will be able to cope without you someday. Because of course, you are not always going to be there for the child. You can get ill, you can have an accident, you can die. I know these things, they scare most people because of it's something, of course, it's not a good news. So no parent wants to hear. Some time ago, I was speaking with my mentor and I had the opportunity. He called me and he told me he wanted to meet with me. So I went and we had a few discussions and he asked me a question. He asked me some questions, and it was about, I think, about 5 years back. And I told him that I was going to get back to him on some of the questions. And he told me that, one problem that we have as humans, one problem that we have is that we think we have time. We think we have time. So whenever we have an opportunity to do something, we wait. We tell ourselves there is more time, so we wait. So when he said that, I was like, it really got me. And I had to answer him there and then, because it may be the last time that I was meeting with him. So we think that we have time, we have a lot of time to help these kids. See, once your child becomes a teenager, there are certain things they won't even listen to you. Once your child becomes a teenager, they may not listen to you. So the best thing you have to do, I'm not saying that when your child is a teenager, you can't do anything about it. You can't, but it's really tough. Like, you can ask anyone with teenage children. It's really tough raising them, especially if you didn't do the things you had to do when they were young. So if you have a younger child, this is the best time. It's the best time to learn parenting. Even if you haven't given birth yet, it's the best time to learn parenting. It gives you the understanding, so that when you give birth one day, you'll be able to know what to do. You will not be overwhelmed, you will not be confused or anything. So it's important, please. If this inner tribe, once registration closes, we are not taking anyone again until the end of the year. So you may want to get in now so that you can also learn some of these things. Now, the next type of parenting style that is deadly is the quick fix parenting style. The quick fix parenting style. Now, these are parents who rely on fast solutions to temporarily fix a problem instead of aiming for real lasting change. Real lasting change. There are some people, all they want is quick fix. Quick fix. When a child does something, you see a child throwing tantrum, and all you do is maybe your child comes to you, I want a biscuit, and that time you don't have the money for it, or probably you don't want to get it for the child, and the child begins to cry. The child cry, and then you buy whatever you have to buy. You buy the biscuit for the child. You just want something. You want to solve that problem. You want a quick fix solution that will help that will let the child stop crying. But ask yourself, you buying the biscuit for the child, has it solved the problem? Anytime the child needs that thing, or anytime the child needs something, he knows that he has to cry so that he will get what he wants. But no, you need to go through the process. You need to understand how to deal with tantrums. And there are some children, their parents go to the extent of getting them. There are people who give their children pills, just so their child will be able to stop whatever behavior that they are going through, and a whole lot of things that we do. So we need to be very careful. Quick fixes, when you use a quick fix method, you only get the results there and then, but it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't really change anything. When you yell at your child, you are yelling for them to stop, whatever they are doing at that instance, but it doesn't really solve anything. It doesn't really solve anything. We warn, we shout, we yell, and all of that, but the tantrums that the children throw, it's still there. They never stop. They never stop. And as I was saying, that some parents give their children pills. It is true. Of course, there are some children, their situations may be peculiar, and they may go to see a specialist, and the specialist or whatever will recommend some drugs for the child. I understand that part. But my problem is, we rely so much on those things as if it's the only thing to help build character in the children. And do you know that these pills that we give to the children is one of the things that causes the fact that when people grow and they go through stress, they go through depression and all of that, they feel that they have to take drugs, and that is what is increasing people to abuse drugs. So we need to be very careful. Sometimes there are some people, they'll give their children some tonics just so the children will sleep and all of that, so that they can have the time to do what they want to do. I mean, what are we doing to the children? What are we doing to the children? We need to be very careful. This quick fix approach only teach children to act based on the fact that they act because they don't want mommy or daddy to beat them. They act because they don't want to, because they've been given a particular reward. Sometimes we give our children rewards. Whenever a child does something, we give rewards. Whenever a child does something, we give rewards. So you are not really, instead of you to teach the child, okay, teach the child why they have to do good things, or why they have to do what they have to do, why they have to be responsible, why they have to teach them the why behind what they have to do. A child who knows the why, okay, a child who knows and understands the why will never, do something that they don't have to do. So let's focus on teaching the why behind, what we are telling them to do, why they have to do this. This is why you need to take good care of your things. This is why you don't have to tear your books. This is why you don't have to, spoil or leave your things anywhere. Teach them the why. When they understand the why, okay, they are able to do the right things all the time, most of the time. So let's take note of that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't give your children any rewards at all. You need to give it up. You need to give it if it's something that is going to, in the early stages, if it's something you think will help the child, develop the attitude or the character the character you want to see in them, you can use that as a start. But don't let it be something, don't use it for a very long time. Use it and know when to stop using rewards for your children, because life is not all about rewards. If you do that, the child will always be doing something and be expecting someone to also reward them for the things that they have to do for themselves. So let's know when to stop. You need to be a thinking parent. Once you are a parent, you need to think. There are certain things you may not know what to do, and it's okay. It's perfectly okay. Sometimes it happens to all of us. Sometimes we don't know what to do. But the issue then is you need to relax, sit down, and think. Relax, sit down, and think. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do to help my child? What can I do to help my child? So it's very, very, very important. It's very, very important that we take note of these things. We shouldn't treat things as this thing, I have to do it now. I have to fix this child's character now. If I don't do it, something bad will happen. Nothing bad is going to happen. Nothing bad is going to happen. Just take your time and do what you have to do for your child. Now, the quick fix may solve the problem now, but never creates real lasting change. So children always go back to the same behaviors, and then they end up tired. You end up tired and discouraged. Because you are always focusing on the quick fixes. So focus rather on the process, the things you have to do every day. So if your child, you see like your child has some challenges, pick one challenge at a time. Look into it deeply. Think, how can I help my child overcome these things? How can I help my child overcome these things? You need to ask yourself and write down. See, parenting, you have to be really intentional. Your game of intentionality have to be high. You can't do anything anyhow and expect to see results. No, you need to have the time for it. You need to go through the process and know that there is nothing like a quick fix. There's nothing like a quick fix. So you have to go through the process, help your child until you see that particular challenge has been solved. Then you move on to another thing. Don't compare your child to anyone. Don't compare your journey. I always say it, do not compare your journey with anyone else. So this morning I saw a post and it said that do not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 7. You are helping your child focus on it. Don't look at someone who has done the job and their children are, really putting up good behaviors that you desire. So you need to focus. Now, the third parenting style that is causing harm is the incubator parenting. Now, this kind of parents pushes their kids into learning earlier than appropriate for their cognitive age and developmental level. So you see these kind of children who, their children in school, because they know they are good kids, they are smart, that kind of thing that we say. Now, see, listen, every child is smart. Every child is smart. So we think that our children is smart and we jump them. Okay, we don't allow the children to go through the process. We jump them when they are in class 1. We say, oh, the child is good. The child is good. So they have to jump to, let's say, class 4. So the child skips classes. It doesn't help the child. It makes them stressed out at the end of the day. It doesn't help the children in any way. So we need to stop thinking like we want to raise super kids. Like these days, it's a challenge. Like it's something that is going on. Everyone wants to raise a super kid, a super child. My child has to be, the best. My child has to be this. My child has to be that. Relax. Look at the developmental stage of your child and ask yourself, what do I need to get for this child? If your child is young, don't go and get a puzzle that is for children who are of, if your child is, let's say, a toddler, then you go and get puzzles that teens use for the child just because you want to prove something to other people that your children can, however, your children can solve all the puzzles and all of that. Like you want to prove things to other people. So you are pushing the child, you are letting the child do things. Some people let their children, after school, they have a classes teacher for the child, and then they have other lessons for the child, a young child, but their schedules are like so much. It doesn't help the child. You are just confusing the child, and they stress out at the end of the day. It causes depression at the end of the day. So we need to be very, very careful how or what we are pushing or putting our children through. We need to take our time. We don't allow the children to fail because we think that once they fail, like you want to prove things to other people. Failure is good. Let your child fail. Failure is good. So please, let's take note of these things. Let's stop wanting our children to be the super smart kid. So we end up, doing all sort of things that are not necessary for the child. We end up doing all sort of things that are not necessary. So what we can do as parents is to learn to is to learn to appreciate our children's natural talent and interests and focus on where and how and where to help the child, based on their developmental stage. Stop pushing too many things just because you want to raise a perfect child. Stop it. Stop pushing so many things on the child. Do it one step at a time. Look at, there are so many, age appropriate books, age appropriate things you can do for your child. Do it according to their ages. Do not skip. Do not skip just because you want to prove points to other people. Now, the fourth deadly parenting style that we use is buddy parenting. Have you heard some parents say, "My child is my friend. My child is my this. My child is my friend. My what name do they give it? I don't even know the names that they use." So your child is not your friend. Your child needs you to be a parent. And these kind of parenting styles, these kind of parents, they don't have any boundaries. There are no boundaries, there are no rules, and they push their traumas on their children. They have discussions with their child that they have no business having with the child, because they think the child is their friend. They relate with the child as if like they would relate with their friend. Some conversations they don't have to have with the child, they have with the child. You are just burdening your child. You are just burdening your child. So we need to take note of that and know that. Go and look for your friends. If you don't have friends, go and look for your friends. Your child is not your friend. Use friendship as a tool. It shouldn't be like a relationship you have with your child. Friendship should be a tool in your parenting. So please, let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. Your children need you to become a parent. They don't need a friend. They have their own friends too. So they want you to be the parent that you have to be. Some time ago, I was reading a book and it stated that I think an interview, research was conducted, and the children were asked, how they really want their children, their parents to raise them. And one girl said something that there is no boundaries. The dad or her parents allow her to do anything at all that she wants. And sometimes she feels like they need to, give out. They need to stop her when she does certain things, but there is no boundary. She does anything at all that she wants to do, and no one says anything. And it's something that really worried the child. So if your child if you provide boundaries, if there are boundaries, it helps the child become responsible. It helps the child to become responsible. So please, if you are allowing your children to do anything because you think your children are your friends, your children are not your friends. We must learn to set clear boundaries, be firm, and know that what your child needs is a parent and not a friend. They have their friends. So please, mama, daddy, go and find your friends. Your children are not your friends. Now, the final one, I may give another one, I may add another one. So let's talk about this, the paranoid parenting. Parents, they obsessively keeping their children safe from any psychological or physical harm. They are always worried, like, how is my child going to survive? So they are like all the time protecting. This kind of parenting is similar to the helicopter parenting. They don't want their children to face any challenge at all. They are, afraid. They are always passing their fears onto their children. They don't want their children to leave their sides. They always want, like, keeping an eye on their children, as if their children, some lions are going to chew their children, or something bad is going to happen to the child. If you are passing your fears onto your child, stop it. Let the child face their own challenge. Let them worry about what they go through. Allow them, because you are not always going to be there for them. It will get to a time that you leave. It is the hard truth. We won't always be with our children. We are going to leave this world after some time. So we need to focus on building skills. Let's skill up our children so that without us, they will still be able to survive in this world. They will still be able to survive in this world. Now, as parents, the paranoid parenting, what you can do is that if you see yourself as a paranoid parent, okay, you think there are so many things, bad people out there, so you don't allow your child to go out. You think there are so many things inappropriate going on in this world, so you don't allow your child to even go out and play, to talk to someone, and all of that. You are not helping the child. Teach them why, how to do things. Teach them how to, be conscious of themselves. There is something we call situational awareness. Once your child goes out, let them be aware. I always tell my kids, see, if you go outside, okay, and you act as if you are afraid, you are the person that people will come and harm you because they know that you are afraid. Anyone who sees anyone who is afraid, they want to, take advantage of that person. So you have to be a tough person. Even if you are afraid, you need to act as if you are brave. Because in the wild, okay, the lions, they catch or they eat those animals that seems like afraid. They don't know what to do. Like what the lions will eat those animals. So you need to be tough. Once you go out there, you need to be tough. You need to be tough. And you need to be aware of yourself. There are people out there. There are good people. There are bad people. There are strangers who are good. There are strangers who are bad. So you need to be aware. Teach your children. Once they find themselves somewhere, they don't know the place, they get missing. What is the first thing they have to do? Safety skills. Teach your child who is the first person they have to call, or who is the first person they have to contact once they find themselves in a place that they don't know anyone. Teach them what to do at that point in time. Build skills in your child. A skilled child will always know what to do. A skilled child will always know what to do. But note that it's a process. It's one thing at a time. It's one thing at a time. If as parents we don't do these things, we are going to raise children who are irresponsible. We are going to raise children who don't know what to do. We are going to raise children who they don't know what to do at any point in time. And when they face a challenge, they would have to call you. They would have to call you to come and solve that challenge for them. I believe this is not what we want for our children. We want to do more, and we can do more. We can do better for these kids. And as parents, so one thing you need to do, if you are a paranoid parent, as parents, we must learn to relax, okay, a bit more. Realize when you are being overprotective so that your children, okay, you don't pass your fears on to your children. Realize it. Am I being too overprotective? Let me relax more. Nothing bad will happen to the child. Of course, you need to ensure that your children are safe and all of that. But there are things they will be able to find their way out. They will be able to find their way out. So let's relax a bit. Don't be too overprotective, doing things for your child and all of that. It doesn't really help the child. So let me add this one thing to it, one style of parenting, then we'll be done. The secondary parenting. The secondary parenting. These kind of parents, in this stage, most of us leave our children on the screen. The screen is like the first parent of the child, and we are acting as secondary parents. We are acting as secondary parents. We are raising social media savvy children instead of tech savvy children. So who are you raising? You are leaving your children on the screen all the time, and you think they are learning technology. You are letting your child be on social media all the time, and you think they are learning technology. No, they are consuming. They're not learning anything. Your child is just consuming other people's content. So let your child be able to use the social media as a tool to teach something. There are so many things that if your child knows how to do, they'll be able to earn something. If they know how to use Canva, they'll be able to do designs for people and earn something. If they're able to know, it's not all about consuming other people's stuff, consuming. Teach them that they can also create something. And stop leaving your children in front of the screens. A child who is below 4 years, you don't have to, when your child is below 2, don't let them be on the screen. I beg you. They don't learn anything. They don't learn anything on the screen. Don't let them be on the screen. I know it's a way that some parents do that just so they'll have the time to do what they have to do, because the child will be crying and all of that. When your child, like, there are things you can do to help minimize tantrums. Let the children play. If your child wants to play, let them play. Okay, let them play. All you need to do is you can have a corner, a play corner or reading corner, or a space where they go there to explore. So in that corner, you can get them storybooks. There can be play items there. So anytime they want to release some stress, they will go there and play. And you also have the time to do what you have to do. You need to have a routine and all of that. If you structure your life in that way, you will see that the overwhelming and the so many, I don't know what to do, the child is worrying me and all of that, you will see that it will all come down. We are overwhelmed because we don't know what to do. We don't know how to go about the challenges we are facing. Parenting is very tough. Even in this state, in this era, it's tougher. But there is a way. There's a way to do it so that you don't get too overwhelmed. There's a way to do it so that, like, you will know, you put your life in order. You will not be everywhere. People will be complaining that they don't know what to do, and you see that your life is in order. Like, you know what to do. Your children know what to do at every point in time because you are following something. You have a goal. Do you understand? So it's not. Don't let us leave things. Some people leave their responsibility, they give to other other family members. They leave their children with teachers. See, those people will pass on their values to your child. And do you even know their values? Do you know what they believe in? Do you know what they don't believe in? But you are letting them, be the first parent for the child, and you are a secondary parent. Because according to you, you are busy, you have to take care of your business. The way you take care of your business should be the same way you take care of your family, because your family is also a business. Treat it as such. And we are all busy, yes, but you will still be able to have time to raise your child, because if you don't do it, someone will be doing it for you. The screen will be doing it for you. The people whom you don't share the same values with will be doing it for you. And someday you will be like, I didn't teach you this thing. Where did you learn this thing from? Forgetting that you gave your responsibility to someone else to take charge. Parenting is your responsibility. Parenting is my responsibility. It is our responsibility. I said last time that whenever society, there is, chaos, people don't know what to do, people are tired, people are suffering, we cry to God to help us, to bring a savior. And God answers us by giving us these children. These children, you think that your child has to be Jesus Christ before you know your child is a savior. Your child is a savior. But how we are raising these children, God has given us these children to fulfill something, to solve humanity's problem. But we don't know. We do anything because we think that is what we have to do. We do anything because we think that is how our parents raised us, and therefore we have to use the same approach. We do anything because why should someone teach me how to raise my child? And then we spoil everything at the end of the day. And then the problems we face continue. I saw a post on Donald Trump. I don't know if it's real. I haven't been able to confirm. I learned that he's sacked all Black people, like majority of the Black people who do not have, the rights from the country, and he says they should come back to Africa and make Africa great. They should come back because they have a lot of resources, and you don't have to wait for someone to develop their country and you will go there. For me, some people said he is mean, some people have passed all sort of comments, but I agree with him. We too can take care of our country. We too can develop our continent. We are just running away from reality. We want a place where someone has worked, and made the place nice. We all want to be there. But the reality is we can also do something to make Africa great. If all of us should run from Africa, who is going to stay here to make Africa better? Who is going to stay here to make the continent great? If we keep running, who will be left to save us? So it's time that we work very hard, and it all begins from how we are raising our children. Okay, it all starts here. We can do something. For me, I believe that if we are able to be very intentional, okay, if we have the goal that we want to raise people, children, who will change the narrative here in Africa. If we want to raise children who will change the narrative here in Africa, I believe that we need to take our parenting more seriously. We don't have to joke with it. We need to be very intentional. We need to be we need to be conscious. We need to intentionally do things because we know where we are going, because we know what we want to achieve. And it's not a joke. It's not a joke. We shouldn't joke about parenting. If we really mean it, if we really want to solve the problems, we always complain. Complaining doesn't solve the problem. It is the work we are willing to do today. It is the work, the efforts we are willing to put in today so that we will grow to see a different Africa tomorrow. We have all the resources. We have everything. Why are we still suffering? Why are we still suffering? So let's take charge today. Let's be at the front seat and do what we have to do and do what we must do as parents, because no one will do it for us. If you run away from your responsibility, you are being irresponsible. So take charge, my dear, take charge. Dear parents, take charge. Because God has given it to us. He knows we can do it. He knows we can get better and raise these children. All right, I would want to leave all of us. I would want to end here, and you can join the Inner Tribe program. We are still open. Registration ends on 31st January. You don't want to miss this opportunity to be in the Inner Tribe. There are so many things that we are going to do. We are going to have weekly live sessions. We are going to have daily, connection tools to do with your child so that you can connect more with them. Without connection, you can't correct your child. Most of us want to correct every time. They want to, we are focused on correcting the child without connecting first. When you have no connection with someone, they won't listen to you. So we are going to give you these things and more. You don't want to miss it. Don't sit down and say, it's expensive. These people, they want our money. If it's the money, if it's about the money, we are not going to charge this amount. So please, if you want to join, you can send the number scrolling on the screen. You can send us a message for any inquiry at all you want to, anything you want to know about the Inner Tribe. You can ask us and we will send you a response immediately. All right, take care. I hope you learned something. If you are catching a replay, you can still share this link with other parents who will be able to, also have the opportunity to watch and learn from the things that we teach here. I know parenting isn't about perfection. Our aim is not to be, perfect. No, we are humans. We are going to make mistakes, but we believe in the process. We believe that once we are willing to learn, once we are willing to grow, we will definitely see the changes that we want to see. And remember, It all starts with you, the parent, not the child. When you grow, you'll be able to give better to your child. When you learn, when your cup is full, you'll be able to pour some for your child. I hope this has been helpful, and thank you so much for joining us, Elizabeth, Grace. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you again next 2 weeks. But of course, we are going to continue with our post. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.